So this next topic is kind of a continuation of my previous video. So I'll link that in the description and I'll probably put it up on the screen somewhere. But the last time I discussed the concept of minor pentatonic box 1, that if you only knew box 1, but you knew it really, really well, you knew a bunch of licks and sequences in that box, you could apply it and move it around into different areas of the fretboard. Even if you were only in one backing track with no key change, you have at least 3 different spots that you can move it around. And to understand why this works, you need to understand a little bit about the music theory and about the intervals and about relative key changes. But I'm going to stay to the same type of example as in the last video. For example, if I was talking about A Dorian, naturally I would think to do minor pentatonic box 1 off of A Dorian. But that minor pentatonic box 1 also fits over B Phrygian, because that is relative, and E natural minor, or E Aeolian, because that is also relative. So I could take one box and move it into 3 different locations, but I get different results each time because the interval combination is not the same. And I find myself kind of enjoying it. It was kind of a new sound, something that I don't do very often, but it's really opening up new ideas for me. Licks that I've been playing for years started to sound really fresh when I moved them into these different positions because of these interval combinations that I always kind of knew were there, but never really applied in that very specific way because I was not thinking about it in the context of minor pentatonic box 1. This is for people who probably do know their 5 boxes of minor pentatonic. We're going to stay in one tonal center or one root note and play as many boxes as we can in parallel position. So let's start with A Dorian. Because of the interval combination, I'm allowed to do box 1, box 3, and box 5. Now, as you'll hear in the example, box 5 is probably the riskiest one because in box 5 you end up getting a major 6th interval, which you might think automatically right away, okay, well, how is that going to be risky? The major 6th is already in A Dorian. But remember, you can't put this kind of stuff on autopilot. If you play that major 6th too early in the progression, or if you're emphasizing that interval on the tonic chord, then that major 6th is probably going to sound a little off to your ear. It's better to time it when you hear the 4 chord. Let's check this out and see how it sounds. Okay, not bad. Some interesting results there. So I kind of get more comfortable in parallel position knowing my intervals, so I feel a little bit stronger about, hey, box 3, I have that natural 2 or that major 2nd interval. And sometimes it sounds really good, sometimes it doesn't. So I did some trial and error in there. I found some things that I liked, some things I didn't like. So in B Phrygian, I can do box 1 and box 4. And that's basically all I can do off the root position, off of B. So I can't even do a 3rd box off of B. But we can kind of get away with the major pentatonic shape, which is box 2, if we play it off of the C, which is the flat 2nd interval in B Phrygian. But if you look at it, the intervals will match up and it's all going to work out. But yes, I guess technically it is not parallel position because it's not off of B. But yep, nonetheless, I'm going to try it. So we have box 1, box 4 off of B, and then we have box 2 off of C. All right, so some interesting things. I thought box 4 was going to sound better, but I think what happens is that when you emphasize that minor sixth interval too early, kind of similar to the Aeolian sound, if you emphasize the minor sixth interval on the tonic chord a little too much, it's going to start to sound out of place. I liked how box 2 sounded off of C. If we're playing it over the 2 chord in the progression, which is the C major, that definitely sounded good. But if you keep it for too long, if it overstays its welcome, which I kind of noticed I did a few times by accident, then it doesn't sound as good. So you got to be really careful. I think the best word of advice is always to default back to box 1 if you feel like you're getting a little lost in this. But definitely some interesting sounds. Like I said, this might not be the best tool for improvisation in the moment, but I'm taking a lot of mental notes about licks and about interval combinations that I kind of like, that I can use to write solos or even write riffs in songs in the future. All right, so the final one is E natural minor, or E Aeolian. And for this one, we have box 1, box 3, and box 4. Box 4, again, is going to emphasize the minor sixth interval like it does in B Phrygian. So that's probably one we want to be careful with or wait to time it a certain way. But box 3 should sound halfway decent because it doesn't have any very like abrasive intervals in there, with the exception of the major second. If that gets played over the tonic chord a little too much, sometimes it doesn't always sound great, but let's see what happens. I liked box 3. Like I said, in this backing track, and I think I used the same backing track in the previous video, the tonic chord has an add 9 in it, or a minor 9, and I'm hearing that being emphasized when I play box 3. Because remember, a little review here, box 3 contains the major second interval. The major second interval is the same as the major ninth interval. It's just an octave higher when it's referred to as the ninth. So if the tonic chord in this backing track contains an A minor 9 or an A minor add 9, then box 3 is going to work really well over that chord. But again, you know, I'm actually kind of learning this stuff right with you guys. This is a new idea. I've always been vaguely aware of the idea, but I've only been applying it very recently, but I really like what it's doing for my playing. Like I said, there's licks that I've been playing and sequences that I've been playing for years and years. But now that I'm doing it in this new context, I'm getting a whole bunch of different interval combinations out of it that I never thought I would hear before. It's giving me a bunch of great ideas for solos, for improvising in the future, and even for songwriting. And for you, hopefully it helps with, even if it's not guitar, piano parts, layers on top of songs you already have, even for vocal parts. You know, like maybe you should always record these ideas, because you never know. You could translate the note combination and the melody to a different instrument. Like I said, to piano, to violin, to vocals. So hopefully this inspires you and it gives you your own ideas and your own jumping off point for playing differently. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.